What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Let's talk some baseball off the bat. Rays beat the Reds 8-0. Rays continue their hot start to the season. Guardians beat the Tigers 3-2. Tigers, they look really bad. I did not think they would be good, but man, they look terrible. San Francisco beats Miami 5-2 in 11 innings. Miami, once again, for however many years in a row this has been, they just cannot score any runs. Arizona beat St. Louis. St. Louis beat Arizona 14-5. Philly beat the White Sox 5-2. Philly's trying to turn around. Got a bunch of injuries. Obviously, Harper is still out. They're down Hoskins. Hoskins' replacement at first, Eric Hall, is out. So a lot of guys out right now in that lineup for Philadelphia. That's why they're off to a bit of a tough start. But they pick up the win against the White Sox last night 5-2. Texas beats Kansas City 12-3. Mets beat the Dodgers 5-3. Pittsburgh beats Colorado 14-3. Cubs beat the A's 12-2. They're not even competitive at this point, Oakland. Milwaukee beats Seattle 5-3. San Diego beats Atlanta 1-0. Yankees beat the Angels 3-2 in 10 innings. Baltimore beats Washington 4-0. Minnesota beats Boston. Baltimore beats Washington 4-0. Minnesota beats Boston 10-4. And Houston beats Toronto 8-1. Take a look at the standings for baseball so far. Very early on. We are only about 3 weeks into the season. Minnesota on top of the American League Central 11-7. Got Cleveland at 10-9. Detroit at 7-10. White Sox 7-12. They're struggling so far. I can't see at 4-15. They look horrible. Their team is horrible. They're probably the worst offensive team in the American League. As of like a week and a half ago, they had like 10 guys hitting under 200, and like 2 or 3 hitting under 100. And it's not like their pitching is exactly elite either. Tampa on top of the East, they're 16-3. What a start for Tampa Bay. Started 11-0. 16-3. Got Baltimore 11-7. Good start for the O's. Yankees at 11-7. Toronto at 11-8. Boston at 9-10. ALBs for the second year in a row should be extremely competitive. Boston finished in last place in the American League East last year, and they were just about 500, if not 500. Looking like something like that will happen again in that very, very competitive American League East. American League West, Texas is off to a great start at 12-6. Angels at 9-9. Houston at 9-10. Seattle at 8-11. Oakland at 3-16. I want to talk about the Oakland A's. It appears they're trying to get out of Oakland. That their stadium has been falling apart for years. They're not bringing in the attendance records there is just it's just pathetic. You got opossums now are running through the stadium. Their team is abysmal. They've blown up that team completely. They have nothing there. Most of their players who are in their starting lineup on any other team pretty much might not even be in the major leagues. Their team is horrible. They're not even competitive. They're losing games like 12-2, 13-1. They lost 17-6 to the Mets last week. Like they're not even competitive. It's just embarrassing at this point. Like I cannot imagine being an Oakland Athletics fan if they even exist. Like do Oakland Athletics fans exist? If any of you Oakland A's fans exist, please comment, shout out, call me, text me, send me a letter. Because I have never heard of an Oakland Athletics fan, and I see why. That baseball team is a travesty. I just put them in the minor leagues at this point. Tell me there's just AAA teams that could beat this team. Come on, there's at least a few AAA teams that could beat this team. The Syracuse Mets, which at one point had Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez and Mark Vientos and some other guys down there. Jose Buto, the guy who just pitched for 5 innings of like 2-run ball against Oakland last week. I mean, that team couldn't beat the A's. I didn't think they could beat the A's. So they're trying to move out of Oakland. They're closing in on a stadium in Vegas. It's going to be worth $1 billion. The problem is the city of Oakland does not want to lose Oakland A's. So the mayor is not budging. So they're in a tough spot. They haven't agreed on the stadium yet. They're still trying to come to an agreement. But and also the city of Oakland won't budge. So they're kind of stuck. They're almost like, all right, they need to get out of Oakland. And they want to, but the Oakland mayor is saying, no, I'm not, it's not going to happen. They're kind of stuck right now. Like, they need to just. That franchise needs to completely restart. They need to completely restart, okay? Sell the team, get rid of everybody. You know, if I'm Billy Bean, I am. I'm done. If I'm Billy Bean, I'm telling them, what do you want me to do? I know their whole thing, Moneyball, and they've always been about, less with more kind of thing. If I'm Billy Bean, I'm like, look, Billy Bean's a legend. He's baseball royalty. He's been there, what, 30 years, something like that. There's been rumors that he may be leaving soon. I know a couple years ago when the Mets tried to find the president of baseball operations, they had the whole big failure. One of the guys they reached out to was Billy Bean. Like, if I'm him, I'm done. I'm I'm telling I'm telling the ownership, I'm done. After the year, I'm done. I'm stepping down, and he'll do whether he retires, whether does he, maybe look to buy a stake in another baseball team? Does he, I know he's interested in other opportunities outside of baseball. I know he was interested, him and possibly John Henry, owner of the Red Sox, who of course tried to recruit him, offered him a huge contract to make him the president of the baseball operations way back when, and he said no. And it's worked out because look what he's built. He's done obviously a lot of great things in Oakland over many, many years. Or maybe become GM of maybe a bigger market team, or that's the Mets or whoever else. It can't get worse than this. If I'm him, I am done. I am out. If I'm him, I'm out. And Oakland should restart. Get rid of everybody. The front office, the coaching staff, the players. Nothing against like the staff. I mean, the manager there. I don't know who the frick the manager of Oakland is. I think he's a recently retired player. He was an assistant coach. I'm not blaming him for the team looking like it should be in Double A. I mean, what player is even somewhat threatening on this team? Who's their best hitter? Ramon Laureano? He's an average MLB player. Who's their ace? Is it the kid they just brought over from overseas? Is it James Capralian? Who's like his career ERA is probably almost 5? Who's their best reliever? I couldn't tell you. The team is atrocious. Restart. Completely restart that organization. That organization is embarrassing. On some National League and National League Central, Milwaukee on top. They look really good. 14-5. Cubs at 11-6. They look good. Pirates at 12-7. St. Louis at 8-11. Cincinnati at 7-11. So National Central's been very competitive. And at least you got Atlanta at 14-5. Mets at 12-7. Miami at 10-9. Philadelphia at 8-11. Washington at 5-13. Like I said, Philly's off to a bit of a tough start at 8-11, trying to turn it around. I know Miami. I mean, Miami to be 10-9, as bad as they've been off, I thought that's actually pretty good. Kudos to Skip Schumacher on the job he's done so far. They might be the worst offensive team in the National League, and they're a game over 500. In that division, it's pretty good. In the West, Arizona's at 11-8, Dodgers at 9-10, San Diego at 9-11, San Francisco at 6-11, Colorado at 5-14. So the NL West is off to a tough start. Arizona's look pretty good. We all know what they can do possibly. And the Dodgers, we all knew they would probably not win the division this year, but certainly a playoff team still. They haven't looked great. And San Diego, who we thought might win the whole damn thing this year, is not looking great. So that's the standing so far in baseball. A couple days ago, the Cincinnati Reds extended Hunter Green 6 years, $53 million for 2029. I like this deal for the Reds. Hunter Green, we all know he's got a live arm. He can hit 100 with ease. He's still very raw, still very young, but he's a guy, if he develops properly, and he doesn't have any arm problems because he throws so hard, I think this could be a really good deal for the Reds in a couple of years. So this is a guy who you're only paying, what? Not even $9 million a year on average for the next, like, 4 or 5 years, plus, and then he has the team option. So for 5 or 6 years, you get him for less than $10 million a year. That could be a bargain. My one issue with him is I'm worried he may have to become a reliever. They could do like what they did with Aroldis Chapman. Aroldis Chapman came up a starter. But it was obviously a guy who threw 100 when he first came up. He could hit 105, even 106 miles per hour. And the Reds moved him to the bullpen when he first came up to limit his inning because he threw so hard. So like maybe kind of ease him in, but he was so dominant as a closer. They was like, oh, this guy could be a closer for years and years to come. So they just kept him there, and obviously he ended up making a very good career out of being a closer. And now he's in Kansas City because he throws so hard. Because he's a guy, he hits 100 with ease. Like last year, he had like 100, like over 100 more 100-mile-per-hour pitches, if not even more than that, than the next closest guy when it comes to the pitchers who throw most 100-mile-per-hour pitches. Like, yes, like you have a guy like Ohtani who will hit it a few times every game. DeGrom will hit it a few times every game. But like Hunter Green's, like every pitch, every fastball he throws is 100 to 103. I'm just worried, like, how long will he be able to do that? Like, I'm afraid he's gonna, like, if he's coming out of the bullpen, if he's only throwing 70 or 80 innings a year, he could probably throw 100. Come in there for an inning or two a game, come in there and throw 100 every single time for most of his career. And even let's say in 10, 12 years when his career's winding down, he may be able to hit 100, but he'll still hit nice to have 98. But a starter pitching every 5 days, he's pitching 200 innings a season. I'm worried about by the time he hits 30, he might only throw 94 or 95, if that. So my one issue, he may have to move to the bullpen. But if he can consistently throw 100 for 170, 180, 200 innings a season, then this could be a steal. I'm hearing Shohei Ohtani could possibly be traded, and he will definitely the Angels if they don't make the playoffs and they fall out of contention. I can't imagine how much money he's going to get this offseason. I think he'll get the biggest contract for any American sports athlete ever. As a matter of fact, I hope Steve Cohen gives him whatever he wants. $500 million. Hell, if he wants $1 billion, I'm not even kidding. If he wants $1 billion, he can have it. As a Mets fan, I would not be against it. Our payroll's already what? 320, 350 million. At this point, like, who cares? Steve Cohen clearly doesn't care about the luxury tax. He's paying more luxury tax to like half the league's entire payrolls. He doesn't care. He doesn't give a flying you-know-what. Like, all right, so like I said, it's already 300 plus million. It's never going to dip below 300 million probably, as long as Cohen owns the team. So you might as well just blow it out the roof. If they have $500 million payroll, who cares? I mean, the Mets haven't won a World Series since 1986. They've won a playoff series since 2015. They've won one playoff game since 2015. Their cursed franchise, at this point, I don't even care. Just give Ohtani $1 billion. But in all seriousness, I think he gets at least $500 million. I think the highest total value for a contract, I think, is Trout's. His total after the extension, I think, is at like 426 or something. I think he tops that. Yeah, I think he can get 500. I don't see why not. I mean, the dude's insane. Probably the best player in baseball. The dude is a top 5 starting pitcher in the league and a top 5 hitter in the league. You haven't seen that since Babe Ruth, like literally 100 years ago. What he's doing is crazy and literally unparalleled. I think there'll be other teams that will be involved as well. I believe the Dodgers will be involved. I heard they might offer him a huge deal. I mean, I'm sure the Yankees will sniff around. I know Ohtani said like he wouldn't come to the Yankees when he first departed Japan. I went to MLB. Of course, I ended up signing with the Angels because he wanted to play on the West Coast. I'm hearing that's not true now. Also, if the Mets, let's say the Mets offer him $500 million, is he turning down $500 million? I don't think he is. I do not think Ohtani is turning down $500 million. I think if his, he tells his fans signing with the Mets and they're upset, he's like, look, when he says $500 million, they'll be like, go ahead, go ahead, we'll figure it out, go play for the Mets. So I'm not worried about that, and I'm hearing that's no longer true anymore. Dodgers will be involved. I could see maybe Boston sniffing around because they just signed Yoshida, who's good friends of Otani. Of course, they were teammates on the Japan World Baseball Classic team. They both were major parts of the Japan team that won the World Baseball Classic. So maybe I don't know. I don't trust Shane Bloom to land him now and spend the money he's willing to take. I mean, he let Alexander Bogarts slip through his fingers. He let Mookie Betts slip through his fingers. And he almost let Rafael Devers slip through his fingers. So, I don't trust that. And I mean, the Angels will try to get him back. I think Ohtani's going to tell him to go F themselves. I'm like, no, I'm not signing with you guys. You got me and Trout, and you can't make the playoffs? It's embarrassing. No. It'd be very interesting. Now it's time to talk about Max Scherzer. So Max Scherzer in the fourth inning, he was thrown out of the game. He had a very heated exchange with the umpires, telling him something about his glove. It was a sticky substance issue. What Max Scherzer was saying to the umpire was, it's just rosin. Rosin, the little like bag thing behind the mound, that is known as the rosin bag. It's something that the pitchers use to get a grip, to help them with their grip. Helps them get obviously when you're throwing 100 pitches a game, you get tired, you sweat, and your hands get sweaty, so you help that could hurt your grip on the ball. So with the rosin, it kind of just dries up the sweat and gives you a little bit, just a little bit of better grip. That's why they use it. Obviously, with the new sticky substance rules they put in last year, around June of last year, obviously there are certain things like obviously the whole Spider tag with Garrett Cole and all these other guys were suspected of using. That's how it's not allowed anymore. And there's a certain amount of rosin. You can still use rosin. I mean, the rosin bag is literally right behind the mound. It's not there for a decoration. You can still use it, but apparently there's only a certain amount you can use. Scherzer is saying he's only using sweat and rosin. So I'm a little bit confused. Well, first of all, so I was watching the game. And then I hear Scherzer got thrown out for sticky subs. I'm like, what? So then I watched the video. So then I'm like, wait. Like, it looked like he almost got ejected for oil because he was not happy. He was screaming at the umpire. Maybe the umpire was just trying to calm him down, and just Scherzer just won't stop screaming. Eventually, he's like, all right, you're done. At first I couldn't tell, was he thrown out for the sticky substance, or was he thrown out for arguing with the umpire? Because he was very, very heated with the umpire. I don't blame him. First of all, it's Scherzer. He's already heated out there. Any start, as soon as he hits the mound, it's weird. Like, he's not like that in real life. I heard he's like a great locker room guy. He's a really nice guy. He's an incredible teammate. And when he was rehabbing at AAA, he bought like all the minor league guys like this amazing dinner, which major league guys are usually supposed to do that. You got these major league guys who are rehab and they're making 10, 20, 30 million. The minor league guys are making a couple $100,000. They're supposed to take the players out to dinner and pay for their dinner. It's a courtesy. But Scherzer went above and beyond. Like he's always been like that. When he steps on that mound, he is a completely different person. He is literally Mad Max. That nickname fits him perfectly. He's literally Mad Max. Anyway, back to the point. I'm a little confused. He's saying just sweat and rosin. So I guess I was doing some digging. There's a certain amount of rosin that you can use, but I'm confused. How do you know how much the limit? How do the umpires gauge that? Is it the umpire's judgment? If so, I don't think that's a fair rule. Not only fair to the players, but I don't know if it's fair to the umpires. Like, how do you tell? Well, the umpire, his name was like Phil Rizzo or something like that. I don't remember his name. His name is not important to the storyline right now. There's been 3 pitchers that have been thrown out of the game. for a sticky substance, for sticky substances during the game since since the rule came into play. And he was the umpire that ejected all three, so I don't know. He's clearly been a much more of a stickler of it than the other umpires for whatever reason. I don't know why. It is what it is. But they really need to look at that rule. Because, like, alright, yeah, obviously they were very clear, the spire tag and all that stuff, they banned that, fine. That's clear as day. You should have been using that anyway. They technically were not allowed to use it, but the rule wasn't enforced. So if the rule wasn't enforced, you know, if guys are gonna use it, if they're not gonna get called out on it or held accountable. But the rosin thing is like there's only a certain amount of rosin you can use. Like it's not like it's like a thing like Spire Tag where like before the game you like put it on your hands, you put it on the ball. The rosin bag is sitting really right behind the mound. Like between pitches, every pitcher ever for like the last for last decades and decades, they pick up in between pitches, they pick up the rosin, they rub it on their hands, and then they go. And it's there for a reason. It's right sitting right behind the mound. So why is there a limit? They need to clarify that. I don't get how they tell. Apparently, in between the third and the fourth, they told him, all right, your glove. I guess Scherzer had on his glove. Again, every pitcher does this. They told him there's too much stuff on your glove. Change your glove, you're gonna get thrown out. And he didn't change his glove. So I get that. Like he should have changed his glove. But in the Yankee game last week, Domingo Germán, the Yankees pitcher, starting pitcher, they told him they realized he was using too much rosin and too much sticky stuff, and they told him, go wash your hands or getting thrown out. And then he went and washed his hands, and then that's why the Twins' man Walker Bulldogs came out and had that very odd ejection, because he was like, whoa, he's like, wait a minute, guys. If you find sticky substance, it's either you determine that it's there's no substance. You go ahead, fire away. You can still play. You're still in the game. Or it's too much substance. You're thrown out. Like, why does Domingo Germán get an opportunity to wash his hands, but Scherzer doesn't? I don't understand. I'm not telling him to change his glove, but like, what's he gonna do? Like, ask another player for their glove? Like, and like, it's not like he's throwing. Like, I don't get how like it's not like he's throwing. He's not like it's. And he was telling the umpire like it's on his left hand. He doesn't throw his left. Like it's on his glove hand. He doesn't throw with his glove hand, obviously. It wasn't even on his throwing hand. So to me, it makes no sense. And also, why does Domingo Germán get an upper? They just say, just go wash your hands. Just do me a favor, go wash your hands, and you're fine. But Scherzer, it's oh, you're thrown out of the game, and now he's getting 10 game suspension. He's not gonna be able to avoid that. That's the rule. I don't get it. They gotta clarify that rule. I'm not even saying like it's BS. I'm just saying I'm not even bashing the umpire. I'm bashing the league for not clarifying the rule. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. It's a tough loss for them. It's 10 games. Since it's 10 games, it's actually only 2 starts. For sure, because they pitch every 5 days. But, you're already down. Obviously, Verlander, who looks like I'm hearing, he just threw live batting practice. He's going to make a re-up start, I believe, next Friday. And he's on pace to return possibly in Detroit, like May 2nd or 3rd. We thought he'd be back by end of April, so they pushed him back a little bit. They'll definitely be very careful with him. He is 40. They're paying him $40+ million a year. And, they do have good depth, so they can afford to wait with Verlander. So you still won't, you're not getting him back for probably 2-ish weeks. You're already down Carlos Carrasco. I don't know what's going on with him. He hasn't looked right all season. Apparently he got an injection. He's got like a shoulder or an elbow problem. So he's So he's out. Obviously, Jose Quintana's out to probably at least July. Yeah, right now, your rotation was Scherzer, Senga, Peterson, and Miguel are both in the rotation, and probably Jose Buto, who's being a Death Star from last year. He was terrible last year. He pitched pretty well against Oakland earlier this year. Like I said earlier, Oakland is not even trying. You give up like less than 2 runs against Oakland in 5 innings. Cool. Not impressed. It was better than what he did last year, but he played one of the worst teams I've ever seen in my life. And now Scherzer's going to miss the next 2 starts because he's going to be suspended for this whole thing. So tough break for the Mets. But I just don't get it. They got to clarify these rules. I mean, the whole I know people are going to bring up the Joe Musgrove thing. Oh, it's karma for the Mets. But like, if you really look at it, so Musgrove clearly had something on his ear. It could have just been Vaseline. It could have been just something random. Andrew McCutcheon went to Twitter. He said he thought maybe it was like, hot salt or something. He said like it makes your ears like basically makes your ears be on fire. He says like he said personally he doesn't know how it helps him, but like a lot of them use it. It helps them for some reason. Again, like it sounds weird, but like I guess it helps them, and it's not like it's not like it's sticky, so it's not against the rules. Could have been that. It could have been Vaseline. A lot of people just use that. Vaseline. My thing is like you could clearly see something on his ear. The umpire is like massaging his ear, which was really weird. If I was Musgrove, I'd be like, "Can you not massage my freaking ear in the middle of a winner take all or winner go home playoff game?" I would have, I would have like, I would like, "Yo, can you not?" But Scherzer uses freaking rosin from the rosin man sitting behind the man that every pitcher uses, and he gets thrown out and gets 10 game suspension. Come on, but come on, really? They gotta clarify the rule. This whole thing is a joke. Anyway, that's my rant on that. We'll see what happens. He'll probably get 10 games. Thankfully, it's only 2 starts. Hopefully, they can survive. Hopefully, by the time let's say if he misses his next start, so he pitched him until 20, 21, 20, 20, he'll pitch on the 24th. He'll miss that start. He'll miss the start on the 29th as well. So maybe if you get Scherzer and Verlander back at the same time, that's 2 big guys to get back at the same time. It's the only silver lining there. But moving on to hockey, playoffs in full swing. Hurricanes beat the Islanders 4-3 in overtime. Game-winning goal from Jesper Foss. Paul Stastny out of the goal assist from Jakub Slavin. Carolina goes up 2-0. They were good. Everyone thought the Islanders were going to win. Oh, because they're physical and stuff. They're not a good hockey team. I picked Carolina in 5 for a reason. And now they're going to go to New York up 2-0. Panthers beat the Bruins 6-3. 2 goals for Brendan Montour, a goal for Sam Bennett, 2 assists for Matthew Tkachuk. So Florida evened up the series with Boston. Big win. Now they go to Florida with a split. Stars beat the Wild 7-3. Rube Hintz had a hat trick plus an assist. Again, Dadonov had 2 goals, 4 assists from Mio Heiskanen. They evened up the series in that one. And Oilers beat the Kings 4-2. Draisaitl had a goal and 2 assists. Klim Kostin, Youngster for Oilers, had a goal. Philip Deneau had a goal for the Kings and lost. That series is even at 1 apiece. Moving on to basketball, the playoffs, first round playoff contender for NBA. The Grizzlies beat the Lakers 103 to 93 down. Big win for Memphis. Xavier Tillman, 23 points, 13 rebounds. He steps up. LeBron, 28 and 13 in the loss. So, huge win for Memphis. Now they go to LA. They go to LA to 1-1. Everyone thought the Lakers were going to go LA up 2-0. That's a huge win for Memphis. Now, this series, we all thought, if Ja's out, they're going to lose. They're going to go up 2-0. Now that they prove they can win without Ja, that's a big win for the Memphis Grizzlies. Bucks beat the Heat 138 to 122. So they did not have Giannis. So another team win down their star. Bucks with arguably the best player in basketball and Giannis. Didn't have him with the back injury, and they win. Drew Howley, 24 points, 11 assists. Jimmy Miller had 25 in the loss. That series is 1-1 as that series shifts to Miami. And the Nuggets beat the Timberwolves 122-113. Jamal Murray had 40 points. Anthony Edwards, 41 points and 3 blocks in the loss. Nuggets go up 2 games as it goes to Minnesota. They are in full control there. Nuggets were up big at one point. Minnesota had a 14-0 run. In the third quarter, got back in it, but then Denver holds on. Jamal Murray, he's blown out the series. He had 24 points. He won to add 40 more in game 2. But Karl Town, he has been horrible. He is 8 of 27 this series. I think in like 9 turnovers. He has been horrible this series. He's got to step it up. In college basketball, we got Andre Jackson from UConn. He declares for the draft. He's a potential first-round pick. And Zach Edey declares for the draft, the big guy from Purdue. So, he remained his college eligibility. So, like, if he doesn't get drafted, he can go back to Purdue. I think he should. But yes, he won Player of the Year. He averaged whatever he did, 26 and 12, whatever he did. But I think he needs some more college seasoning. I would go back to Purdue, honestly. Mike Brown was Coach of the Year. Thank goodness. Well deserved. Not much to say on that. He did an amazing job this year. Kudos to him. Second time he's won that award. He won it when he was in Cleveland. And the Washington Wizards have fired general manager Tommy Sheppard for 4 seasons. I mean, he hasn't built anything there. Wizards are been floundering for years. They got to trade Bradley Beal. I don't know what's going on there. He's gone. On to football. Allen Robinson, the trade to the Steelers is official. Allen Robinson goes to the Steelers in a 7th-round pick swap. Pittsburgh is only paying $5 million. Robinson, obviously, last couple years, he has not put up good numbers. With the Bears, last year with the Bears, he wasn't very good about injuries. Last year, he was struggling with the Rams, and then he got hurt. He's a guy who has never had any good quarterbacks. Now Kenny Pickett hasn't proven either. But I think if he's healthy and he has a good quarterback, he can still produce in some way. Pittsburgh's got a lot of weapons. They're only paying $5 million of his salary. The Rams are paying the rest. They ain't gonna pay anything for him. It's really a high reward, no risk trade for the Steelers. So I think it's a pretty good move. I'm hearing if Joe Mixon is looking like a pick up, he could be cut. One of the league's best running backs. He's obviously got a lot of legal problems right now. We'll see what happens there. I mean, the Bengals to pass out the offense. Maybe they think if we throw any running back there, they can still have a dominant offense and still win the North and still be one of the best teams in the league. That'd be a Super Bowl contender. So why should we be paying a running back, $10+ million a year? If they could save, $8-9 million against on the salary cap, and still be just as good, might as well. You have teams calling out Trey Lance. That's interesting. Brock Purdy. They asked Brock Purdy, is he gonna play this year? He says he doesn't know. He's obviously he had Tommy John on that elbow, so we'll see what happens. Eagles signed Aledi Zaccheaus. He had 40 catches for 553 yards last year for the Falcons. They had some more wide receiver depth. And I don't have much else for you guys. The Zurich Classic of New Orleans, which is it's a doubles tournament in golf. It's going on right now. That's the only thing we got for golf. And my mock draft special is going to be Wednesday, April 26th. So don't miss that. That is 6 days from today. All right, that's all I got for you guys. Until next time, so long. Have a great day.